Welcome to Washington East to West Sports. This is episode 112. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Kevin Ardall and Sean Beatty. And once again, for all of our baseball previews, we have JT underscore the Ginger on Twitter. Sean is at Nasty Billy 22. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe. I'm at Beatty underscore Matt. Follow us on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think of all the topics we talk about. We are going to start once again with the Seattle Seahawks. And there's been a few moves since we were last on the podcast. Most notable is the Seahawks traded to acquire quarterback Sam Howell from the Commanders. The trade was Howell, a fourth round pick, and a sixth round pick to the Seahawks in exchange for a third and a fifth. And then other notable moves, Bobby came and then he left once again. He signed with the Manders. And then the Hawks signed Rayshawn Jenkins, a safety who played for Jacksonville. And then they signed linebackers Jerome Baker and Tyrell Dodson. So, Kevin, I'm throwing it to you first. Any of these a big deal, or is it like whatever? I'm moving on.
I mean, yes and no. Let's start with the quarterback. As McDonald's kind of already stated that he will be the backup, like there's really not going to be. And it kind of, I mean, essentially kind of states that we're probably out of the quarterback hunt in the draft, but I mean, you never know. Crazier things have happened, but um, it's I don't like trading third round picks because as we've stated before on this podcast, everything beyond the third round is kind of just a crapshoot. So trading back for a fourth and a sixth is kind of not the best for like a backup quarterback that like sure like he has potential and you know what you're getting with him versus getting something out of college. You never know, but also getting this stuff out of college, you still have the upside to where we kind of know where Howell's ceiling's at. Um, yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of it to be honest. But it is what it is. I guess we got a decent-ish backup quarterback. He's got legs, and I mean he's had good games for the Commanders. There's not a whole lot on that team. So maybe with some more offensive weapon power, because I mean all he had was Terry, essentially Terry McLaurin, and that was about it. Uh, as far as the safety goes, we'll see. I haven't looked really too much in him from Jacksonville. I mean, you definitely need a safety after you let two of them go, but and then with not, only having so many picks in the draft, it's just kind of like a depth thing. And I'm sure he'll compete for a spot, but if not being the starter since he has you know, years experience versus a rookie, depending on how high in the draft you go. The two linebackers, not bad. I know freaking everybody on Twitter was pooping their pants about the one that we got from Buffalo. I mean, and yes, he had a really good year last year, but like switching to new schemes, new systems, new teams doesn't mean you're always going to repeat. So let's calm down on our panties right there. I mean, I hope he does. I hope he repeats, his season or does better. But like, I mean, you saw what Jamal Adams when Jamal Adams came over and didn't do what he did with the Jets. So, and I mean, there's other various scenarios go into where it's a change of scenery doesn't always help. The linebacker from the Dolphins is from the numbers that I've seen in the tape that I've watched. He's solid. I like what he does. And like I said, we definitely need linebackers because before those two, it was just Radigan and technically freaking the defensive end that plays Leo, but he's essentially a defensive end that we got the kid from Tennessee that we got in the second. I forgot his name. Taylor. Yeah. Because he's technically a linebacker, even though he's not, but um, so yeah, all in all, I mean, defensively, you're adding good depth with at the linebacker that you definitely needed. Safety is yet to be seen. We'll see. Safeties, yeah. And then backup quarterback, like I said, I wasn't really much of a fan of, but it is what it is. So
Sean, what do you think?
Sam Howell is better than Drew Lock. Um, so fine. Kevin's point, yeah, I didn't like giving him the third, but again, I think it worked out to like about 20-ish picks you traded up to get a guy because you're not going to get anybody in a draft. It doesn't move the needle a ton for me. Yeah, I would have liked not to give it a third, but third, again, 20 picks from the third to technically a fourth. It's not the biggest deal in the world, so it doesn't scare me too much. Bye, Bobby. It's time to move on. Rayshon Jenkins, serviceable safety. I kind of hope that Reed gets a chance to play. Reed and Love get this the crack at it, and then Jenkins gets a shot. But I wouldn't be sad if Jenkins gets it if they think that he fits better. Linebackers. That was funny that everyone, it just how happened like 2 days before Seahawks Twitter was like, oh man, PFF does not matter. They're stupid. Led by a certain podcast, which I have listened to them more and okay, good for you guys. You guys know some stuff, but um they were led by them. They're like, oh, put PFF, and then immediately, then 2 days later, they're like, number one or number two PFF graded linebacker, and everyone's like, oh my god, I'm like, guys, like, you can't dog it and then like it 2 days later. Like, you just can't. That's not how this works. Like, either it's good or bad. Like, and for the record, I'll say PFF is a tool. It is not an end all be all. There is no end all be all. So, but just it is a tool, and it has been proven to like actually be pretty good, and teams use it. So, yeah, they're both. I would say a lot of defense, and especially off ball linebackers. A lot depends on the system. So, like to Kevin's point, I don't know what they're going to look like in the system. I don't know what these three players are going to look like. They're going to come from a vastly different system with, frankly, less talent around them. So they'll probably end up looking worse, but they probably won't be playing worse. Just defense, a lot of it depends on who's around you too. So it's a work in progress, and they're both better than Devin Bush and probably better than Bobby Wagner. So at this point in Bobby's career. So what's up?
Oh, I said I forgot about Devin Bush. Is he still on this team?
Or did I say Devin? Who is it?
Oh yeah,
It is
Devin
Devin
Bush.
Bush. Yeah.
We had him
Okay,
last
okay.
year. I think he was a 1 year deal though. I don't
Yeah,
know.
He's
where did he go?
And he was just bad. Nowhere because he's
He's
so
nowhere.
yeah, he's they're better than that. So
I don't know why I
think
just typed Bush into Yahoo and thought that would work. I don't know
Oh,
why.
yeah,
did
I
that.
don't know. Yeah,
No,
so
okay, at least you
that's
didn't Google. At least you didn't Google Bush.
yeah, that's they've upgraded at
Yeah.
least. So and they didn't spend a lot of money, so that's fine. So they have money. They don't have any really much money to work with, but still, like totally fine, serviceable players. That's nothing really moved the needle this offseason so far, and that's fine because this is actually the rebuild, not when they traded Russ because trading one player is not a rebuild. This is the rebuild. Their roster was in a terrible spot. Sorry, Pete, but you've just boned this team, just roster wise, and it needed to be gutted, and they did that. So here we go. Here's the start of it.
JT, what do you think?
I'm thinking instead of the tush push, we're going with the bush push.
Thank you. That's the content we
That's
need
the
from you.
OG Bush tush push. Was it Notre
Tush
Dame?
Bush push?
No, the Bush push was that Notre Dame?
Oh, Reggie Bush.
Yeah, that actually is a thing. I don't know if you guys should Google that game. Yeah, but it's actually a Bush push. I believe is Notre Dame. Yeah, but anyways,
Yep. I'm excited for the Seahawks. I agree with what the roster is. I'm looking forward to some signings. As we'll see how it plays out. I see a lot of depth being exchanged. Nothing to move the needle. Kind of in agreement with both the guys here. So, pretty much 1 year deals, right? And was
one or two.
Jenkins is
1 or 2. So I
Yeah,
mean,
one or two.
short-term
Yeah.
deals, a couple veteran guys, it's just like, you see what happens and see what sticks. And I think I'm more looking forward to where we go in the draft and everything like that. And are we trading back? Are we getting a lot of depth, and how this rebuild will take place? And I think that'll answer a lot of questions on how long we would expect some type of turnaround. So just trying to keep it positive. Pete's gone. Thanks for everything. Hugs and kisses. And just looking to turn a corner.
Yeah, I thought the Howell move was interesting. I really kind of thought they would go quarterback in the draft. Now, of course, that doesn't mean they're not going to draft a quarterback, but I think that eliminates them drafting one in the first round at the very least.
It
there,
better.
there,
I mean, I don't
there are
think they're giving
some
up that in the draft.
quarterbacks you can get later. I mean, if you ask me right now, do I think they draft a quarterback still? I would probably say yeah. I think it would be a late round. I think it'd be a late round, just a flyer, probably a practice squad guy since he traded for Sam Howell. But
It
I'm
might be
curious to
practice
see.
squad guy because did you guys see the rules that you could call up your practice squad guy at any point now? There's no like restrictions on that. Third quarterbacks can be called up at any time. So that actually came out today. So that is probably a good point, Matthew. The third quarterback suddenly is a lot more valuable on NFL rosters.
Yeah, I think, I feel like you should take a shot on a young guy. I don't really see why not. And it doesn't matter, obviously it's not gonna be the first round, it seems like. So if you get him late, like take a shot and see what you get. But he wouldn't really have a shot unless two guys go down in front of him. And Sam Howell, he was fine last year. He won me a couple weeks in fantasy. So fantasy's not, of course, real football, but that means you put up some numbers, which is interesting. The Bobby Wagner, I bought a Bobby Wagner retro jersey this year for the retro jersey, so slightly sad, but also I get it. It makes sense. But I'm still gonna have that Bobby Wagner jersey memorialized at some point once he finally moves on, or I get a new jersey. So we'll see what happens first. Jenkins, yeah, it's interesting to see how the defense is going to shape up here. The signing I liked the most was Jerome Baker, and that is mainly because I watched Hard Knocks in season with Miami Dolphins, and I thought he had a chance to play well and help the team in the playoffs, but then he got hurt immediately coming back after he came off of injury. So if he could stay healthy, I think that's going to be an excellent signing. Dotson I'm not as familiar with, but it sounds like there is some optimism around him. So, this is McDonald's defense, and I'm sure he's got a plan. So I'm curious to see how it all comes together. And, if he's as good of a defensive coach as he's been built up to be, I expect the defense to hopefully be, solid at the very least. I'm not going to say top defense, but, don't get gashed for like 4 yards every run play or something like that. So you have to see how the draft shapes out, because this team is nowhere near complete and there's, still some question marks, but the direction they're going is interesting, and it's really it's like I don't think anybody can tell what this team is going to be until obviously training camp rolls around, but especially right now there's just so many question marks about who's playing where. So but it is nice, like JT said, hugs and kisses to Pete Carroll, but I like this new unfamiliar territory. It's nice. It's nice. Any other moves you guys want to talk about football wise?
I do.
What's up?
Freaking the monster retired. Thank God.
Oh, Aaron Donald. Yeah.
Oh,
Aaron
yes.
Donald is no longer terrorizing us. That's very nice.
That is. And I think a lot more players are seeming to kind of get out around their early 30s. It kind of seems to be a little bit more of a trend than I've seen in recent years, and it makes sense because you want to keep your body intact. And Aaron Donald is,
What else does he have to play for? He's got his ring. He's going to be first ballot Hall of Fame, and he's maybe the best defensive tackle of all time. I mean, what else does he got to do?
Do you think he goes into broadcasting, analyzing?
No, I don't see that for him.
No.
Maybe take a year off.
Oh, he's definitely gonna take a year off and just chill, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's got enough money to where he can do whatever he wants.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if he's a broadcast kind of guy. I don't know if I don't see that for him.
At the very least, a podcast. He'll go the Cam Newton route, get a podcast for himself, probably.
We need less of those as we're on. Yeah,
I could see him going on shows as like a guest to like give some like every now and then.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be good. Like rotating guy that people do. There's people who do that. They just like make a living on guest appearances and stuff like that. A lot of them are quarterbacks, but yeah, like that. Like I can see that.
He was
I would
pretty
like him.
fun with. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
With the Barstool people. Like,
Yeah, he was fun with GK and the exchange and
Yeah.
like how much they bench and stuff. So it's like, man, playful banter. And I mean, if he wants a gig with Fox, usually they line up like 9 guys in a row. Each one speaks for 20 seconds and then they get paid a ton of money. I mean, what's wrong with that?
No, it's more of like, what does he bring versus like a more like, because his personality just isn't like out there as much, and so it's like I figure like that kind of like lends more to like what you want to see on TV. Because again, they got 9 guys. If they're all just gonna stand there and say the same thing 20 seconds. I'm like, I kind of want a guy who's like, a little more crazy. I'm not saying go AB route. Just let's not go crazy there, but like just someone with like a personality like Gronk. Gronk had like was known for just kind of being a little crazy, and putting him on TV is like that's what you do.
Actually, you know what I could see him doing? I could see him get into coaching. Like take a year off, come
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
coach the D line or something like that.
He looks like a high school coach, like that crazy NFL players. Like I just want to coach high school and just like never go. Doesn't want to do it any other reason than just coach high school. Like
I wouldn't be surprised if Pitt gives him a call and is like, "Hey, do you want to come help?" Like,
I'm sure
go back to
yeah. He screams high school coach. just a guy who's gonna stay at high school for like 20 years and like
And also a high school coach you would never question or double cross.
yeah, well, yeah, you're never gonna question him. He's never gonna get fired.
Murdered.
Like it's easy life, and all he does is just coach high school football. There's like really not a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? Like
wins 3 state titles, and he's like, all right, maybe I'll go coach college. All right.
Just what it is. Like just it's just what it is.
All right. Well, let us know how much you're celebrating Aaron Donald retiring. Go and tweet us. I'm at _Matt. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe. Sean is at NastyBilly22. JT is at JT_the Ginger. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Tell us what you think of the Seahawks in the comments below. But we are getting ready for some baseball. That's right. The flowers are blooming. The sun is coming out. It's raining over here a lot. So it's obviously baseball time. So let's talk some Seattle Mariners baseball. First, let's talk about spring training. If there's anything to talk about, because I don't know. I haven't really watched it a whole lot. So JT, I'm throwing it to you first. Is there anything from spring training that you watched that has any significance for the regular season?
Julio is looking pretty sexy. Let's just be honest with ourselves. I haven't been able to watch stuff, so I'm just kind of like looking at stat lines and outcomes, and a lot goes on in spring training. It's more, I'm more focused on like prospects growth and seeing how they perform. And maybe some question marks on whether like Rojas or Urias, who's going to take third? Or are they going to just kind of platoon it based on their batting handedness and just things like that, more the question marks. But overall, I think from spring training is, well, going into this maybe 6 hours ago, say relatively unscathed, but Wu just has a little bit of an arm issue, but nothing severe. They're just gonna give him a 2-week break and should come back. And he did it last year, so I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but something just to slightly keep an eye on. But yeah, I mean, I think all the big players look good. I mean, with the Wu injury, you bring in Emerson Hancock as your fifth, and he at least didn't quite look that great for spring training. So I'm not sure if he was working on anything in particular. But that would just be the only one where I hope those stats don't matter, and hopefully he turns up and turns out when it does, because Hancock's one that's kind of a post type sleeper, and I'd be looking forward to at least him getting some extra chances at the big league level. And who knows if he turns into something, or turns into something we could trade for maybe a bat. That'd be cool. But I'll leave it at that for now.
Sean, anything stand out to you? And do you smell what Luis Castillo is cooking?
I will say, yeah, I saw the commercial's great. I agree with JT, but I think a larger issue is none of the starters pitched really well this spring training. I think actually Luis was the one that pitched decently. So that lends me to believe, JT, that all of them were kind of working on stuff. Like Miller, Logan, and Kirby all seem to get blown up, but I mean, none of them seem to care too much. The staff, the people aren't worried about it, nothing like that. And then, yeah, it's the Wu thing kind of came out of the middle of nowhere, but they don't seem very worried about it. It seems like it's kind of like a precautionary thing. So, kind of like a Matt Brash, like, hey, we need you for longer than like to, we'd like to get off to a hot start, but we don't need you day 2 to like really press this. So I think they're like, let's just set this down. Because again, Wu has had a history of arm injuries. That's why he fell in the draft, and they've been very careful with him. He's through 80 innings last year, or I guess 120-ish innings, a little less in minors and Pro Bowl. But they're like, hey, we don't need to be, messing with these like very, valuable pieces of what is it? Like what's the stuff you get like you bring it out for like expensive cutlery, like all that stuff. It's very delicate, we need to like be careful with it. So don't need to hurt Wu because I want to see that fastball go do things this year. So there's a cat in the picture now. So be careful with Wu. It's fine. Let him sit for a couple weeks, and I don't. It doesn't sound like it's too serious. So yeah, JT, I will say you said Julio, but like all I've been hearing is the lack of butts. I heard Ty France lost his butt. I heard Cal Raleigh kind of
Wait,
lost
hold
his
on.
butt.
How do you lose a butt?
They just worked out and got not as round. So I heard Cal Raleigh and Ty France, I heard really lost his butt. That's the national podcast was saying that he lost his butt, and not a bad thing because he's in shape and he's looking really good. But it's just like he's kind of he had a bump, he had a cushion for when he got pegged by baseballs in the past. He doesn't have that anymore. Cal Raleigh always will have a dumper, but not as much of a dumper. Like a lot of the Mariners hit the weights this offseason and tightened it up. Like they just tightened it up. So we'll see if it's good. But yeah, the dumps for
So
a
is this
team
not
like
like a dumper? It's like a street sweeper type dump, or
no, you
like
see the commercial that there's a dumper. And there, I don't know if you guys saw the behind the scenes. A man who knows a thing or two about dumpers, Dan Wilson's in the behind the scenes, crashes the shooting. So, yeah, so yeah, there's a lack of dumps. Is basically my sadness. But I get it. I get it. They want it. They went for that look, but it still makes me sad.
all right, opening weekend
What's
against
the rap
Boston
song?
is dump
Girl,
watch. All right.
don't lose that butt. Side bends are sit ups, so please don't lose that butt. And I lost the butt.
It's the power source. It's
Absolutely.
where
I
the
don't-
power
yeah,
comes
absolutely.
from.
they're claiming it's like quads are down here, but I'm like, we know, Jake. It's the tush. Like this is a very
It's the actual
butt-centric-
tush push. It's the actual tush
Yeah,
push.
this is a very butt centric podcast already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally dudes' butts, by the way.
Yeah,
We know where our bread is buttered.
absolutely.
It's called the gluteus maximus for a reason. You
Yeah.
got to max it out.
Yeah.
You
And
got it.
When I create a character in a game, I make the dump as big as possible.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
power, you're swinging a sword, power source.
maybe that check bounced. Maybe they got too big for their britches last year.
They
Trying to
lost
think
tight
of
pants.
other.
They lost tight pants, Robbie Ray, and had to get a little looser pants. I don't know.
That's fair. That's fair. Kevin, anything stand out to you in spring training?
Yeah, just to kind of further notate, there might be a loss of hot dog sales because there's no buns on this team anymore.
Oh,
Ooh.
Actually, the whole because Sean kind of brings up a point that needs to be kind of taken too. This actually might be a hindrance for Ty France because Ty France gets hit a lot.
yeah.
He gets hit by pitches so much. A lot of
You always
times
want to see people like lose
that
weight and get
butt
tight. I
take-
want Ty France to get like Michelin Man, like bigger and bigger. So like whenever it hits him, he just does not get bothered.
and
by
that
it.
butt absorbs a lot of stuff. And now it's kind of like now that he's more ripped, like is it going to do him a little bit more damage and make him to where he's on the sideline? He can't shake it off. And as far as like stuff that they haven't covered, there's not really a whole lot. I haven't been able to watch other than like highlights that I see on Twitter. Like I did like Canzone's big monster smash home run that I saw the other day. That was nice to see. But other than that, just
Someone who got bigger.
What?
Zone. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone who got bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, power source. So maybe they're gonna the trade off, I guess. I don't know. But
He donated some of his power source to Canzone. He let him
Yeah.
have some of it.
yeah. It was a surgery, a dumpster surgery. Yeah.
There you go.
But other than that, nothing really much to be like concerned about. As we kind of mentioned, this is just going to depend on health, and yeah, we have some issues with Brash and Wu at the moment, but it sounds like within the first 2 weeks it should be okay. So just everybody cross fingers that it just stays that way, and yeah, and we're just going to continue to look at the prospects down below for future stuff. So.
Well, the thing I really enjoy most from spring training is to see that the Mariners have brought back their good commercial game. I mean, this is a hit. This is good. I mean, back in the days when you had Griffey and Buhner and Wilson, like that was peak Mariners commercials. I don't think you guys can hear it, unfortunately, through my speakers, but this is good. This is good content. At the very least, even if they're not going to be good this year, which I hope that's not the case, but at least they have good commercial content this year because their commercial game was lacking for quite a while. Now that could be possibly because I haven't had live TV in a long time, but you know, this is just put it on Twitter all the time so we can all at least enjoy the show. Okay. So thank you,
I don't think
Mariners.
they had commercials for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's why everyone wanted to bring it back.
Man, we need to fire Stanton not only because he cut the commercial budget. Like we need to get rid of Stanton for many reasons, I think.
Yeah.
But let us take a quick break and we will come back with our predictions right after this. Welcome back to Washington East to West Sports. Thank you to our sponsors, our parents, our friends, our family, all the 33 subscribers we have. So thank you to our sponsors. Let's get back into the Seattle Mariners. So we had just talked about some spring training thoughts. The opening day roster is not posted until tomorrow. So you know what? Let's just go into some predictions. You guys ready for some predictions?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm going to lead it off here because why not? So WAR and home runs, I'm going with Julio. Runs, going with JP. Hits, I'm going with Polanco. Starting pitcher ERA, I'm going with George Kirby. And relief pitcher ERA, I'm going with Andres Munoz. Sean, what do you got?
Okay, all of them at once. Okay, WAR is Julio. Home runs are going to go Mitch Garver. Runs are going to be JP Crawford. Hits Julio. Starting pitcher ERA. I assume qualifying because they don't like pitch like one start. I'll go Kirby as well, just to be boring. And then ERA, I'll go Munoz as well. That's the one that makes the most sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin, what do you got?
Okay, so you said yeah, WAR. Yeah, it's gonna go to Julio. What was the next category?
Home
Home
runs.
runs.
Home runs. I'm gonna get crazy here. I'm gonna get crazy.
Rojas.
I'm gonna say Haniger.
Oh.
If not Haniger, if he stays healthy. If not Haniger, I'm gonna say Dump. I'm gonna say the big Dump.
Well, it's what do you think it is? So if you say Haniger, that means you think he's staying healthy. That's what I said about Mitch Garver. I said Mitch is going to get the most. Garver's going to get the most runs because I assume he's going to be healthy. I'm hoping he's going to be healthy.
And then
So,
what's the
Mitch-
next one?
Runs.
Julio.
Hits.
Probably Polanco.
Starting pitcher ERA.
Yeah. Probably Kirby. Yeah.
How about relief pitcher ERA?
That's what I'm kind of looking through here. I'll go spicy here. I'll say Spire.
Okay.
Probably is not. It's probably not gonna happen, but
And one category I probably should have included
Oh
is
God, no, not
ribbies.
Spire.
I think Julio leads in that one as well.
I was thinking
no, I don't think Julio.
Actually-
I'll
No?
say, yeah. Man, I already said Mitch Garver, but yeah, I'll say Mitch Garver again. Then, yeah,
I'm gonna
I think he's
change
going to most
splits.
runs. Yeah.
I'm gonna say Santos. Santos for ERA.
What do you think about RBIs, Kevin?
Probably Garver. Yeah. Whoever's it's just gonna be really depending on that lineup. Like, and I know it's not gonna be really consistent because freaking what's his butt likes to change it so freaking often. Yeah, I'll just say Garver.
JT, what do you got?
It's the Julio show. Yeah, definitely gonna lead in WAR. with a bullet, probably lap everybody. Home runs. I feel like I just want to guess dark horse because you guys took all the obvious ones. So dark horse, home runs. Kevin already said Haniger, which was
Take
probably
Canzone. Come on.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's probably gonna be Garber. Runs Julio, hits Julio, RBI. Let's go with Haniger. ERA. Oh man. Do I
So
believe
many
in the
good options.
Yeah, do I believe in the Kirby for Cy Young? I want to see it. And in order to
Yeah.
do it, he's gotta do that. Let's do it. Let's go Kirby. Um, relief pitcher, yeah, Munoz. Munoz is gonna have so many saves this year. Um, he's the dude. Yeah, Dark Horse leads the AL in
Yeah, they're not gonna
saves,
match. They're not gonna win many slugfests. I don't think. Like so. It's gonna be close, right? It's gonna be
right?
close.
Yeah,
It's interesting that we have a lot of people are saying Kirby for Cy Young, and I just posted in our chat betting odds of Dark Horse Cy Young is Logan Gilbert's leading in that, and so I think it's funny that the Mariners have two, either a Dark Horse or a front runner for Cy Young, and not our ace was not mentioned in that. So I think it's a good thing. Honestly, I think it's a good thing. If you have two guys that are mentioned as Cy Young and none of them are your ace, that means you're probably set up pretty good. You got some arms. So
And then who'd you have for relief? Oh, yeah, Munoz.
yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we got some variation in that one. It seemed like last year we were all pretty much in unison, so that's good to see. All right. Big
Hold on,
question.
time out. I'm looking
So,
at
go ahead.
roster resource for the Mariners. It says Sam Haggerty's hurt for injury. I've never seen this before. It says to be determined. So the injury is not determined. Interesting. I thought it was interesting. It almost seems like Sam Haggerty doesn't like. They're like he's hurt. Gonna be. We don't know what it's gonna be yet. Like he's not actively hurt, but he's gonna get it. I think that's what they're. That's crazy. Okay. Anyways, I've never seen TBD in injury, so there we go.
All right. Win-loss. This one was interesting. Uh, they've been 90, 88, 90, 90 the last 3 years. I don't really feel like it strays far away from that, really. I'm gonna go 90. I'm going 90, and then finish in the AL West. I think they are second behind Texas. I will say that. Sean, what do you think?
Well, I'll give you a hot take one for there later. Texas doesn't make the playoffs. Okay, two. I'll say win loss is 92 because they're a little better, and Texas doesn't have people throw baseball at this point. So I think they're gonna get a couple games before the Rangers get healthy, and so they'll get a couple extra wins there. Was that the only question? I thought you asked one more. Oh,
Win-loss,
where they
finish in the
finished? Where they
division.
finished? Second behind the Astros, who win 93 games. So like it's gonna come down to the last day. Who wins that division? I think they get second.
Kevin?
Um, yeah, like so much of this is dependent, like because this team is just so dependent on health this year. I'm gonna say 87 wins, and I'm gonna say second behind the Astros, uh, and then Texas, I will say probably is like at around 80 to 79 wins.
Oh,
I think
not
they
even
get
five.
healthy.
Not even 500. Interesting.
I think they make a late push at the end of the year, but yeah, in the beginning they're gonna get rectified a lot. So
JT, what do you think?
Oh man, Mariners wins. Let's go 89.
Split the difference to see what you did there.
It's gonna be a three-way tie for no. I'm gonna go second place finish, but man, I feel like the Astros might be good for like 92. I'm not impressed with the pitching staff as usual or as in the past. Um, but Verlander's waiting in the wings. It's a nice one to have to finish. Um, Playoffs? Were we saying that?
I mean, you could start it. You could start it.
Okay. Playoffs.
The Rangers
So,
have Kirby Yates. I'm so sorry. I didn't know he's still pitching. Okay, sorry.
so what's the question? Playoffs? Yes. Yes. Is that what the
Yeah,
question is?
yeah. I mean, they finished second in my prediction, and it's hard not to include them finishing second. So I'm going to include them. I think the AL East is gonna once again have many spots. So it's really if there's a central team that might be able to swoop in somehow in second place. I think the Mariners will make the playoffs at 90 in second place. Sean?
I think the AL East, you're correct, is that, but I think the Yankees are in a lot of trouble without Garrett Cole. Nestor Cortez is your opening day starter.
It's a pretty good
Followed
name.
by JT is in love with that man. Followed by 7 ERA Carlos Rendon. They do have which what's his name? Marcus Stroman is a solid number 3, but I just am like how are like the Rangers and the Astros early this season. I mean the Astros are a little bit better, but I'm like I don't know how the Yankees are going to get people out. And Aaron Judge and John Carlos Stanton get hurt all the time, and then basically it's Juan Soto. And so I'm just like, man, like the Yankees like really needed Garrett Cole, and they do not have Garrett Cole. Like that is a huge blow. Like the Mariners could survive a Luis Castillo, knock on wood, going down. The Yankees cannot. I just don't think they can. Same with the Rangers. So I think they make the playoffs just because I think the Rays, Baltimore, and then even if man, yeah, I just 6 teams get in. I don't see it's going to be the Yankees and the Mariners fighting it, and I don't see the Yankees being a thing. I think they could even be higher than the Jays this year, to be honest. So I think they get in. I would say pretty easily, but 90 wins or 92 wins what I have them. They're getting in. I think the rest of the AL got a little worse, especially the start of the season with all the injuries, and the Mariners knock on wood have been pretty fortunate with being able to absorb their one injury as well. They're just better situated to do that. So just stay healthy. The two Mitches, just that is what we need to do. And so far, knock on wood, it's been there. But just Mitches, if you stay healthy, you're gonna mash. Just I need you to stay healthy. So I think they make the playoffs.
Kevin?
Yeah. I think with I think they do make the playoffs. I think as Sean mentioned the AL because last year it was the AL East being such a crazy hot mess. Boston has essentially zero pitching at all. And they have a lot of young prospects that are coming up, which will be interesting to see. But like, there's, I can't even, I don't
Yeah,
even know if I can.
Boston and the entire Central are not even worth mentioning.
I don't
Yeah,
even know if I could name a starting pitcher for Boston. Yeah, and as Sean mentioned, the Yankees, Garrett Coles. Yeah, you forgot Sean. You got Severino, Mr.
I
Glass.
said Severino. I said or no, they don't have Severino. Severino's in New
He's
York. Severino is in the Met with the Mets. They don't have
Oh,
Severino.
that's right. Oh, that's
Yeah, they
right.
don't even have Severino.
Right.
Stroman.
Wrong one. My bad. My bad. Yeah, that's true. Uh,
Clark
so
Schmidt
yeah,
is
essentially they have to rely on their power staying healthy, and to like just outslug people, which I just don't really see that happening.
and their two sluggers have notoriously been hurt. So like I'm just like you're banking on John
So
Carlos Stanton
I think your wild card teams. So one of the I think either Tampa, Toronto, or Baltimore wins, and then the other two are your wild card plus the Mariners are your 3 wild card. Because no one's coming out. No other team besides the winners coming out of the Central, and that's just a poop fest in the Central. So, I'm not as really concerned as what I was like last year. Like at one point, like every team in the AL East was above 500, which that was nutty. But and then also in the AL, I mean, sure, Texas could get healthy and go like on a spree. They do have the ability to do it. Do I see it happening? No. Um, the Angels, you got Mike Trout and you got some young, you got an outfield prospect and your catcher prospect that
I mean, you do not need to mention the Angels in Oakland.
yeah.
Like, you
I
do
mean,
not need.
I mean,
Proceed.
Mike Trout's still a thing, but he's just by himself essentially.
That's it,
For the
yeah.
most part, and there's not really any pitching there. I mean, what Detmers is their starting pitcher, I think.
No, he's their third.
Who's their starter?
Patrick Sandoval.
Oh,
And
that's right. And then the A's are
The Las Vegas A's?
how? Okay, this may be unfair. How many Matthew? How many A's can you name right now?
0.
Oakland A's. See, like
I can name Trevor May last year. I don't know anyone else.
Yeah,
No
like
idea.
Kevin, how many could you name?
I can name like 2 or 3.
That is I think I can name them more only because I know they just signed JD Davis. So that is not fair because it just happened. So I think I was at like Kevin. I think I was at like 3, but I knew I could name 4 because I just signed JD Davis. So
Well, they got Rooker, who was hot last year.
yep.
And then they got that dude that's like crazy fast that like steals like 50 bases a season.
Sean, let's say for just fun, I wanted to pick up an Oakland A for my fantasy team. Who should I pick up?
Brett Rooker, like Kevin just mentioned.
Rooker, but
All
I
right,
think
let's see if he's available.
Yeah. Zach Geloff.
taken.
No, there is Zach Geloff maybe because he's played second base. Like is like if you need a second baseman like that, that's it.
But they do have a speed guy that steals like 40, 50 bases.
Estuary just can't get on base. Yeah, that's why he's a bench player.
Yeah,
He
but
just can't.
that's the thing is that
Yeah.
his bat sucks. It's whether
Yeah, everything he does except run, it sucks.
Yeah.
So his defense even sucks. So like, I don't even like. Yeah. So I just they have Abraham Toro.
Oh yeah, Abraham Toro. Yeah, I recognize Abraham Toro. Yeah.
I named 4 players. I think that's the 4 I could name.
Max Muncy.
Isn't Puck on the team? AJ Puck.
Oh, they have Muncy's brother. Yeah. Is he on the team? Did he make the team?
Pucks in Miami.
Oh, is he? Oh no, he's in Miami. Yeah, that's right.
Mason Miller could be a really fun like closer. I just don't know how many opportunities he'll get, but he.
And then
he can
Sears is
sling
one
it.
of their rotation pitchers.
I think I had Shea Langliers last year.
Oh yeah, the catcher. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like 3 catchers, and that's not a good combo.
Yes.
It's like having 3
No, yeah, you don't have to
kickers.
worry about it. I think they'll be a little better than last year, but it's a very low bar. it's a low bar. So yeah, I think the AL East might actually is going to run into a thing where they don't have super easy wins, and the Mariners have the Angels and Oakland, and they just need to bury Texas early. And I think that's like kind of their path to like getting in the playoffs easier than the AL East teams because someone has to win, like Kevin said, but someone is going to have to lose. When they play those games, someone has to lose. So they're going to beat up on themselves. So,
all right, Sean, World Series prediction. Who you got?
it's more the AL that's going to be the NL. It's going to be a coin toss. I don't want to be boring, but do I do Atlanta or Dodgers? I'll do the Dodgers. I mean, whatever. And then AL, kind of. Man, I really want it to be the Rays. I just really don't want it to be Houston. But if Houston gets Verlander back, damn. Houston Dodgers would be like the stupidest World Series, but it's a very big possibility. I will go Rays Dodgers. Let's do it again. 2020.
COVID World Series play
Yeah,
back?
that is not based on my head. That is pure heart. Like I want to see Ohtani in a World Series, and I want to see the Rays in a World Series.
What's the betting odds? Isn't it like Yankees Dodgers? Or what is it?
No, it's not Yankees anymore. No, it's actually probably. Would you agree, JT? Atlanta's probably the favorite coming out of the National League right now, right? I think they are probably the front runner.
Oh man.
How are the
Yeah,
Dodgers not the betting favorite?
Matthew, Atlanta is also the other Monstars team. I don't know if you ever seen. You should. I think.
I know Atlanta's good. I know quite a bit of their players.
I legitimately think all but one Braves starting bat is rostered in fantasy.
Was Jared Kelenic available? Hold on.
no, he is. He might be rostered. He might be rostered.
Damn.
But like the only thing is health for the Braves staff too. But like that lineup be mashing like the Dodgers lineup too. Like that is
the
terrifying.
the odds on Fangraphs for the Braves to win the World Series is 25%.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 4 scenarios they foresee the Braves taking it all.
Who's DD? Who's that in fantasy?
I don't know. I don't know.
Manager is DD.
No idea.
I'll make a trade.
What like
I'll give you Jose Altuve.
yeah,
Just kidding.
the odds that the Braves win the division right now is 98%. 98.2. The Dodgers are only 93%. So, or no, that's make the playoffs. Sorry, make the playoffs. 73 to win the division as it stands right now. Yeah. Rockies at 0. That's just disrespectful. Just disrespectful. True, but disrespectful.
Kevin,
It's very true.
who you got?
Yeah, I know it's gonna be one of those two. Though I am actually really interested to see the Giants this year. Like the Giants are like they intrigue me very much. So I will probably kind of, and then also the Pirates too, kind of see just the jump that the Pirates make.
Okay, not for World Series. I was like,
no, God, no.
I was like,
mean,
they currently have a 9% chance
now
to win. So
if half the Dodgers and half the Braves rosters die in a bus crash or something, then yeah, I would probably maybe put my favorite on the Giants. But I mean, the Padres are also still pretty dang
my
solid.
issue with the Giants is the same issue I had with the Kraken this year. Good players across the board, but no dudes. They don't have any dudes. I mean, I guess they got Snell, but like, is Snell a dude? Like depth only gets you so far. You need a guy. You need guys. You need MVP caliber dudes to really get you somewhere. And I just don't see them having that. I just don't see like that's all the Dodgers and the Braves had is just a bunch of dudes. So like,
I mean, they could be like the Nationals and just get really hot. Like,
I mean, yeah, but like that could be like
any team.
That could be anybody. Yeah, you get they have 3 hot pitchers and then like Howie Kendrick's hitting him home runs in the World Series. Like if you're banking on that, like I could go for it. But
the
Strasburg has never pitched. Let's put it that way. He literally died for that World Series. So I mean, and Patrick Corbin has just been a dumpster fire since then too. So they've burned all their bridges, all their witchcrafts. Jobu from Major League to win that World Series, but it's fine.
And the AL, man, it's hard not to pick the Astros, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa is really good too. Trying to think.
Can I change my pick? I want to go Baltimore. I want to do Baltimore Dodgers. I didn't think they have the pitching, but I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do Baltimore.
That's what I was kind of looking up right now. Just I forgot who their starting rotation
I just
is.
kind of hated how they acted a couple of years ago towards Mariner fans. We thought we were cool, and then they're like, ah. And so I'm like, but yeah, they're exciting. So I'm gonna do it.
I mean, they had the batting. So they got Means.
No take backsies. You
Oh, they
can't,
got Crimson.
snipe my pick.
Sorry,
I know. I was also gonna go Baltimore as well.
Kevin's taking too long. You got to get in
Oh,
there.
they got Corbin Burns. That's right. They got Burns. I forgot about that. I'm still probably going to take the Astros, to be honest. I mean, Abreu as your 5th/6th, like that's.
You didn't roster Abreu in fantasy last year. That tells you. Abreu. Oh man, I was so mad at him. Like, he was not good. He was not good. But yeah, you're right. If you
I think you'll be better on this lineup.
Yeah, for sure.
Most definitely.
Well, he was on my team last year. Dog water, but yeah.
And then you get Verlander back, toward the end of the year, and then so sadly, like it's just the freaking engine that keeps on going, and I hate it. Like you think they're gonna fall off, and then that Jordan guy is pretty damn good, and hate it. I mean, their starting rotation did kind of fall off a little bit last year. Versus like previous years. So like that's kind of your hoping saving grace is that they can kind of continue to fall a little bit. I mean, Verlander's freaking old as butt. And
I mean,
then
but then they just got hater for the bullpen though. They're like, oh man, we're a little bit lighter on starter. Let's make this bullpen like 4 closers. Like we're just like, oh
yeah,
god,
that bullpen is pretty scary.
yeah, it's gross.
So, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I'll say Dodgers, Astros.
I can't blame you. I mean, I can't really fault you for that. Yeah.
Tawny Star Power, man, it's gonna, and that's hard. Like that, it's like going against like Jordan in the in the finals. Like you're now going against a Tawny who's like the hype. Like it's an effect. Like in bowling when people bowl Belmo, like they bowl scared because like you're going against the best in the world, essentially.
They
But
both scared when Kevin and I took down the championship last week. What's up?
Well, you're also telling me they're scared because they have the big maple in their rotation right now too.
mhm.
The big maple.
JT, who you got?
All right, I want to take backsies because all I said was Mariners playoffs. Yes, I'm gonna give them the 5th seed. But World Series prediction. I was gonna do the Battle of the Birds, but maybe I need to change it. I was gonna say Cardinals, Orioles, but
You were gonna go
Um,
Cardinals. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just going dark horses. You guys are taking all the obvious picks. I'm just
You
saying,
could just pick
hey,
the same thing. It's okay.
I
If
just
that's
want
what
to
you think's gonna.
parlay. I just want to just
I want to
hit
be
the
different.
parlay. I want to put a bunch of $1 million in on my bookie and then,
Goldschmidt and Arenado, get it done.
see what happens. Yeah.
I mean, I like Hesley a lot.
But JT, please use like a ghost account or something like that. Like, let's be smart about it here.
Yeah, not a
And
redhead.
also, you don't have to do it illegally too. Like, there's very legal ways to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Through Matthew at the
I mean,
local.
yeah, who would do this illegally in 2024? I don't, I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah, part of me wants to just like pick the Mariners just for funsies. Because man, if they make the playoffs,
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they make it,
what a pitching staff.
those 3, and then you have Miller, Wu, Hancock, plus that bullpen coming out of the like pen, like
Scary.
because you all 3 of your young starters put them in the pen and go an inning. Like it's terrifying.
Like
It'd be terrifying.
a team like that, like the Twins, I'd be terrified of if they made the playoffs. Like they've got some pretty good pitching.
We've talked about it, JT, but again, at any moment, the Twins could just completely get hurt. Like four Twins could go down. Like if that collision in the playoffs with the Jays happen with the Twins, like 4 people get hurt. 3 that are in the collision get hurt, and then like a guy watching it at first base, like down with it. Like they are the most injury prone. But man, if they play healthy, Carlos Correa, Brian Buxton, Max Kepler, Royce Lewis, like all those guys are so terrifying. But they are all going to get hurt at some point. Like they're just.
Don't you put that on them?
I like them all. I drafted 2 of them.
Don't put that on them. You're just.
I want them all to be good because they're all exciting, but like, I can't bank on it. Like, I'm not playing Byron Buxton to start because he doesn't even qualify. He played so little outfield. He's only a DH. Like, come on, man. Just like Trout. Like, just be healthy. Like, yeah. The Twins, JT, talent wise, the Twins scare me, but I just don't think they could be healthy enough to do it. I don't. But if they did,
yeah,
they did. They're good. They're good at playing baseball.
Did you say your actual prediction, JT, or are you still just?
I'm just throwing out fun stuff.
He's gonna go Miami and Chicago White Sox.
Going
like
Twins, Giants.
Boom.
Going
Twins,
Diamondbacks, Guardians. Going, yeah. Let's just have fun things like mascots fight each other. A Marlin versus a Ray.
What mascot wins?
For which one?
Like like a fight.
I mean, I think you got to go with. Let's see.
I mean, the Rockies can't win, but they can't lose. you just climb the Rockies.
Well, some of these are very vague. Like, what is it?
Half of them, like, there's 3 Sox, so they're not winning.
A Cub's not winning. It's not even a full-grown bear. Like, I mean, that's out.
What is an athletic? Is it the elephant? Are we just assuming it's the elephant? And Elephant's pretty
Yeah,
beast.
let's go with
Like,
that.
we can't pick the
I mean,
Rays
I
for
feel like
obvious reasons.
Angels win. They just
RIP.
have the blessing. Like it's just
Yeah.
yeah.
Do they get to just come? I mean, if they just die, they just get to come back, right? They're an Angel.
All right, I'm giving mine. I'm going Baltimore. I like Baltimore.
Baltimore
And
versus
then I'm keeping it Northeast, and I'm going with the Phillies. I think they have been knocking on the door the last couple of years, and I think this is the breakthrough year. And Bryce Harper gets his ring and is like, "Yeah, I'm cool now." So, I'm going Phillies, and I'm going Orioles.
Bryce finally gets his ring, huh?
Yep, yep. Shows those people in Washington. I wish I were there when you guys won, so I could have two, but I wasn't, so I'll just have one. So, any hot takes? I actually like the Giants are interesting. I actually think they are interesting, and it's just
They are, but here's my hot take: is they don't make the playoffs.
is that a hot take?
I don't know. The Padres are really good, and the Diamondbacks are. They signed
Padres were
Montgomery.
supposed to be good last year, and then they just pooped all over themselves. I picked them, and then they just took a
Yeah,
dump in right field.
Padres were good last year. They're just incredibly unlucky. They had a very good run differential, and their stats are good. They're just unlucky. And we saw that continue in Japan when a ball went literally through a glove. So that was fun.
I think that's the glove makers. That's the manufacturer's fault.
Yeah, Diamondbacks just signed Montgomery today. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
So that
Diamondbacks got
really
better
helps
in
them.
this offseason.
They
And,
did. They might lose. They might win less games, but they got better. So
Before I
that's just
forget, JT, what hat are you wearing right now?
Oh, Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Oh,
Woodpeckers, but it's the Copa hat.
wow. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's like Easter colors. It's got the nice
Nice.
pink salmon kind of in the back.
And then the biggest question is, how much do I win the division by in fantasy? Is it like 3 games, 4 games? Like what are we talking here? Like, no, I'm just kidding. I have no idea how I'm gonna do.
You rostered Mike Zunino for far too long last year, who retired. So I don't know, Matthew.
Whoa, whoa, that was out of respect. Okay,
Todd-
I hold off on
fired.
that one.
that was
Yeah,
respect.
you asked us questions for context last year, like, hey, what should I do? And we're like, you roster Mike Zunino one. like,
So my
like,
boss in the
Matthew-
office, he's playing fantasy for the first year, and he did a snake draft, and he is a Red Sox fan, so he has a good amount of Red Sox on his team, and he's confident in the Red Sox this year, but from what I've heard, no one else is. So Red Sox fans are
There's not-
confident.
I would say if they're in another division, they're not terrible.
But what
but
about the division they are actually
They're
in?
not surviving that division. There's no
Okay.
way. Like they
And
don't have
no
the
pitching.
they don't have the bats to survive that division. They definitely don't have the pitching, like Kevin said. Like no.
And they have some like I mean, Devers is still good, and then Costas is
No,
kind
they have like Cassis has something. Trevor Story's probably gonna bounce back. He's not gonna be that bad. Ron and Tyler O'Neill's got some stuff, but again, like if you're just saying that, like there's the Rays are gonna hit better, the Baltimore's gonna hit better, the Yankees are gonna they're gonna hit the worst. We just talked about all these things.
Right.
They're gonna be the worst at all those things than the rest of the division. And then you get to the rotation, you're like, okay, well the rotation will help me. I'm like, Nick Pavetta's your 2. Like, I'm just like, that's not you're not gonna outpitch anybody in the division either. Now I'm not saying like the other people in the division have great rotations, but
I would say Boston has a better rotation than the Yankees, don't they?
right now, yeah. But like Baltimore's with Corbin Burns is like now like a legit thing. Like the Rays always pitch. They just always pitch. So you're already the third best at best case scenario, the rotation in baseball, if not like the fourth, depending on how Toronto's actually shapes up. And like, I mean, Gossman's is still an absolute stud, and like Barrios and Chris Bassett, like they're clearly like the fourth rotation here. Like worst offense, fourth rotation. I don't see how you win.
Yeah, Red Sox are like Guardians light, and that's not a compliment. And with a slight injury bug, like I can be hopeful about their like young, unproven players, but like there's not much. If anything, I'm more excited about their
Guardians go to
pitching
the playoffs 'cause
staff.
they
I want to
play
see
Yeah.
Bello and Cutter Crawford take a step forward. That'd be cool for
He's
them.
going to the game
but-
on Sunday, so he's catching the Miller versus Whitlock matchup. So Mariners open with 4 games against Boston, 3 against Cleveland, and then they're on the road for 3 against Milwaukee, 3 against Toronto, and then Chicago and Cincinnati come to town. So
let's get some dubs early, Mariners. We don't need to be like losing to some mediocre teams early. Let's go.
And Bark in the Park, August. Kevin,
Yeah.
no, you've got Max there, so he might have a good time. So I think there might
Max
be a
might
Bark
go
in the Park party.
crazy at Bark in the Park though. Yeah. Yeah, he might go crazy at Bark in the Park, but yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of the Mariners and what their record will be at the end of the year, and if they will make the playoffs, and who will win the World Series. Go ahead and tweet us. I'm at Baderscore Matt. Sean is at NastyBilly22. Kevin is at C2Believe, SEA2Believe, and JT is at JT_ the Ginger. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like our videos, tell us what you think in the comments below. We'll probably be off for a week or two, and then we will have some NFL draft stuff to talk about because the Seahawks are first round, 16th pick at the moment. And we'll see what they do there. And then we'll have more Mariners baseball to talk about. So, JT, thank you for joining us. And good luck in fantasy to all of you this year. And with that, we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports.